President Cyril Ramaphosa will address the nation this evening to provide more information on his next steps regarding the final report of the State Capture Commission. Now, earlier this month, the President received the amended version of the final report on the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture. In a statement, Ramaphosa advised the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, that he would be submitting his response to Parliament. The 76-page document sets out his approach to the Commission's findings and recommendations.
A day many have been waiting for, an announcement on the implementation of the recommendations of the State Capture Report. Earlier this year, the President stated that after receiving the final report, he would formally present it to Parliament.
Only once the final installment has been received will it be possible, practically possible, to have complete sight of the report's implications and to develop an implementation plan on the recommendations.
This year marked 4 years since the Commission was established.
I have decided to appoint a Commission of Inquiry. The court ordered that, among other things, the remedial action of the public protector is binding.
The inquiry took a little over 3 years to complete its work.
This is what I would call a defining moment in our country's effort to definitely end the era of state capture and to restore the integrity, the credibility, and the capability of our institutions, but more importantly, our government.
In June, the President received the final report, but later the Commission approached the North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria, seeking permission to make some corrections. The court gave the go-ahead for the corrections to be made and ordered that the corrected version be handed over to the President by the 10th of October. The correction contained in Volume 2 and 3 of the final report related to typos and allow for new figures after the wrong ones had mistakenly been included, as well as an analysis of evidence of 2 witnesses. Now, the amended version of the report is before the President.
On Saturday, the 22nd of October, President Ramaphosa advised the Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, that he will be submitting to Parliament his response to the recommendations of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture, corruption and fraud in the public sector, including organs of state.
This evening, men will be glued to their screens as President Ramaphosa is set to outline his plan of action.
The President's response outlines the steps government is taking to implement the Commission's recommendations with respect to actions against the perpetrators of state capture and reforms to prevent future occurrence of state capture, as well as broader systemic reforms arising from the work of the Commission.
The Commission has cost the country close to R1 billion, but has also managed to recoup close to R1 billion. Since its inception, the Commission has interviewed more than 300 witnesses. SABC News, Johannesburg.
All right, now let's get analysis. We're now joined via Zoom by independent political analyst Dr Oscar van Heerden. Dr van Heerden, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Now, given the extent of the Zondo Commission's 358 recommendations into state capture, President Ramaphosa's plan of action will most likely be a defining moment, into the work that has been done in uncovering the extent of the corruption and fraud in the country's state organs. What do you think Ramaphosa should urgently highlight?
Well, as you rightfully point out, such a broad range of recommendations from the landing at the waterproof airbase all the way to individuals, SOEs. So there's really a mammoth task. But the truth of the matter is people of South Africa want to be assured that there's going to be action. that we are going to have a situation where state capture cannot repeat itself in our country. And a strong message must be sent from the presidency to say that if you're involved in corruption, if you're involved in malfeasance, this is what is going to happen to you.
You know, despite the trust deficit that does exist within the country's law enforcement structure and even the leaders, like you rightfully say, many people are hopeful that we will finally see, you know, those implicated for wrongdoing being punished for that. You know, what then should Parliament and law enforcement agencies be prioritizing, you know, to ensure oversight and more importantly, prosecution?
Well, you know, the truth of the matter is that there's so many lessons to be learned from this. We know, for example, that the recommendations also touch on how money has left the country. It also talks to financial regulations about bank accounts and so on and so forth. So really, this is going to be a defining moment, as you say. It's a moment where we are going to have to take serious stock of what we can put in place to make sure that we don't repeat the kind of ills and wrongs that we've experienced over the last 10 years.
Essentially, of course, we know, you know, some very top and senior government officials have also been implicated in this report, some of them still within the ANC. And of course, we know that President Cyril Ramaphosa, he himself is going through some, allegations himself. So how crucial then is it that he is seen, you know, to be putting forward recommendations that are completely, you know, for the nation and speak directly to some of those recommendations we saw in the Commission report?
Yeah, this you're absolutely right. This is not the time to put the party first. This is a time to put the country first. Everyone is wanting to see that there's decisive pals and comrades against even the closest of allies in his own party.
Dr. van Heerden, we lost you a little bit there, but I do understand what you were trying to say. But just speaking and staying on Cyril Ramaphosa and some of the things that, you know, are that he is currently facing, I want to get a sense of what you make then of yesterday. You know, the country saw 3 former presidents essentially, you know, giving their own opinions around some of the charges that Ramaphosa is facing, or allegations rather, and also the precarious position that it puts the country and also him as the leader. Just your sense of what we saw yesterday with, you know, former Presidents Mbeki, Zuma and Motlanthe.
Yeah, I think as I indicated before, 2 presidents took the opportunity to, of course, highlight the fact that we are very concerned that there is around Phala and that there is some answers that needs to be given. The nation needs to be taken into confidence around those issues. But at the same time, there were 2 presidents, President Motlanthe and President Mbeki, that also concerned themselves with the current challenges that are being faced by the country. And so trying to come with solutions, whereas President Zuma was just being the victim. Everyone is against him. Everyone is out. He is the victim, and so on. And even going so far as to say that the president, because of the Phala matter, which has not been resolved as yet, is actually a traitor. I think that is most unfortunate.
All right, Dr. van Heerden, let's leave it there for now. Thank you so much for your time, taking out your Sunday afternoon to just give us analysis on that. All right, so let's continue here now.